No one remembers me. No one ever thought of saving me. Nobody cared. I was an engine that was supposed to be built to serve the Northwestern Railway, but I would be the engine who went under extreme torture and terror. And now I return to do what was done to me. You've seen me, but only for a brief second. Indeed, you've seen me. I was built in 1909 to serve the Northwestern Railway. I am a female engine, but my actual name is Lenard. I guess you're all wondering, why would a female engine be named Lenard? Well, it's because of what happened before my construction. I was built for the Southern Railway, but then I was told to go to Sodor, where I worked there. I was a tank engine, built to carry both freight and passenger trains. Oh, how I love to go to Sodor, where the railways will be my home, where I'll meet new friends and prove there will be a really useful engine. But that's not how it happened. My overall design was a tenderless Class 812 class locomotive. It was in class of successful steam locomotives. There were 2 such locomotives that arrived on Sodor, but that will not be for years. However, I am not what you think I am. On the 28th of December, 1879, the Tay Bridge disaster occurred when a steam locomotive pulling six carriages was crossing the bridge. When the unthinkable happened, the bridge collapsed and the train fell into the waters below, killing everyone on board. Everyone was killed, and the locomotive, number 224, was found to be in good condition, and so they decided to rebuild her in 1885. It was successful, but they wanted something different. They wanted to make a different locomotive out of this design. So, they rebuilt her yet again. That's how I came to be. I was rebuilt from number 224, which had been nicknamed the Diver. The Diver, as it was known. The Tay Bridge disaster was one that will never be forgotten. It's heartbreaking that I was rebuilt from the locomotive that was used in that disaster. I was sent over to Sodor to help out with the extra goods and passenger work as the railway was increasing its workforce. However, my first trip there wasn't a pleasant one. When I first arrived on Sodor, I was greeted warmly by the controller at that time. However, there were several locomotives that didn't like me. As I said, I looked different. I may have looked like the A12 class, but the huge difference was I was modified to have a bunker, and could operate without using a tender. It didn't cause me any side effects, and I proved to be a really successful locomotive. But several people didn't like me. There were several engines in particular. 5 were the most. A silver tank engine called Jackson, a black tender engine with red stripes, He was called Cherithan. A GWR 3031 class locomotive. He was named Sir Roxon. A LBSC locomotive called Cornwall, and another Caledonian Railway locomotive called McClintosh, built after John McClintosh, builder of the 812 class, which was supposedly my design basis. Those 5 never liked me, and even told other engines to stay away from me, saying that I was a disgrace to the railway. I was terrified and horrified. Why would the 5 engines treat me in such a terrible way? Was it because I was a female engine with a boy's name? I didn't let this go to my mind, however, and immediately sent to work. For years, I would help the railway grow in several ways, and actually, many engines liked me. Engines like Edward, Thomas, Henry, the list goes on. But those 5 locomotives never gave up. They claimed I was a hazard to the railway and needed to be put down. How could they say such a terrible thing? I was only trying to be a really useful engine to help the railway grow. Then, in 1920, it had been over 10 years since I arrived on Sodor, and I was given a new job. I was set to run a brand new branch line, the Kildane branch line. Another engine was brought in to help out. She was also an 812 class design, and she had the most beautiful paint scheme I've ever seen. Her name was Lithuania, named after the country. And unlike the other 5 locomotives, who were extremely torturous, Lithuania was different. When we first met, she actually took a strong liking to me, even though I was also a female engine too, and she became my only true friend. We cared for each other and worked together for years. However, things only got worse. Ever since Lithuania had arrived, the 5 engines decided to take them to a whole nother level of torture, claiming to her that I was the most hated engine in Sodor. Lithuania was shocked and horrified. I overheard one conversation that Jackson had with her. "If you see that engine, she is better off at the scrapyard than she is alive." I was shocked and horrified. Lithuania was what comforted me. "Don't you say that! She's a really useful engine, and you should know it. Now go away." I didn't tell her that I overheard the conversation. I just carried on my trains, and so I kept it a secret that I had a crush on her. No matter how much I tried, those 5 engines were always there to humiliate me. Throughout the 1920s, I was a victim of their blackmail, and due to this, many of the passengers and crew didn't even care about me. The only people that cared about me was the control at the time, my crew, and Lithuania. In 1931, the Kildane branch line saw an increase in traffic for the freight services. So, to keep me away from the passengers, the controller put me on the freight trains, while Lithuania was put on the passenger trains. I was heartbroken by this, but Lithuania calmed me and said I would pull passenger trains too once. I don't know if it's true or not. For the next 5 years, I pulled freight trains up and down the line. I would often take several trains at night. I was known as, by my crew, the night engine, as I carried most of the night trains on the Kildane branch line. I hated when I traveled at night. the spooky tracks, the owls hooting. It scared me, but Lithuania promised me that everything would be okay. And she was right. Nothing ever happened to me. I was a brave locomotive. Still, no one ever cared about me. I was a lonely engine. No one ever wanted to see me. And if anyone wanted to, they were put down by those 5 miserable engines. I wish they had stopped, but they didn't. Being known as the night engine, one thing I was known for was my deep, scary whistle. The years went past, and I kept getting lonely. The crew cared about me, and Lithuania too, but no one else did. Everyone claimed that I was just a heap of scrap metal. I tried my best to work my hardest, but still, no one liked me. In World War II, the Kildane branch line was sought for medical and other military supplies. We would carry supplies up to the Kildane harbor and back to carry more cargo. I was most of the ones who carried all the troop trains, but the passengers still came, though they didn't pay much attention to me. All they cared about was their own duties. Oh, how I wanted just someone to talk to. Lithuania was the only engine. I remember one night, having a conversation with her. She said, "Whatever you do, always remember, I'll always be for you. Everywhere, anywhere." I truly loved her, and I wish I had told her that. But when night came, it was too late. Winter had arrived in 1945, and the Second World War had just ended. Though it had ended, me and Lithuania were still packed with heavy military trains. The 5 engines used this as an advantage in their bullying of me. Lithuania always shut them up. But deep inside, I wanted to take care of it myself. I wanted to show them that it was a really useful engine, and I would do anything possible. Then, in November of 1945, came the night I would never forget. As always, I was a lonely engine, about to experience a lonely death. It was November 28th, 1945. One night, Sir Roxanne was going to take another train home for the night. It was going to be a mix of a passenger train and a military goods train with ammunitions. However, he was discovered ill, and I was the only engine available, and so I volunteered to take the train. Right off the bat, Sir Roxanne bullied me. He said this, and I'll never forget it. "You say you'll pull my train? Ha! You're just a stupid little engine. A little engine, a female personality with a male name. Keep your stack out of our business. How about this? How about you just leave this railway? Why don't you just leave Sodor forever? Go away." Lithuania was there too, and she shut him right up. I was deeply, deeply heartbroken. I never felt so lonely in my entire life. Lithuania calmed me and told me just to do my job, and that she will handle with Sir Roxanne. And soon I arrived at the station, ready to collect the train. The train consists of 6 coaches, 19 goods wagons full of ammunition, 5 tanker wagons full of fuel for the ships at the harbor I was going to take the train to, 3 flatbeds with tanks on board, and 2 brake vans. It was indeed a heavy train. However, I had pulled a train as long as this before, and I did it well, and it helped. I looked down the line. The mist had set. It was very spooky. I remember what Lithuania told me, and I plucked up courage. Then, the guard blew his whistle, and I blew mine. And I set off down the line. It was the last time I left the station, the last time I saw Lithuania alive. It was on my last night alive. The night was calm and crisp. My train moved steadily along the rails. I puffed carefully so the ammunitions wouldn't explode, but I knew that if I was going to keep up this pace, I was going to be late. I was only puffing at 25 miles an hour, which was 5 miles below the speed limit, but I thought it was safe, and so I kept puffing along the line. Still, the passengers didn't believe in me. All they cared about was themselves, not me. I was so alone. An engine all alone carrying such a heavy train. My crew pressed me on, and I was able to do a very good job. Still, as I puffed down the line, I couldn't stop of thinking of what those 5 engines had done to me over the years. They betrayed me. They had tortured me. I didn't know what to do. What would I do? I was puffing down the long line of tracks. It was in the middle of a field. My destination was only about another 20 miles away. All being good time. It was gonna be so well. Until... a massive explosion had ripped through the coaches and trucks. The entire train was destroyed. I laid on my side. I couldn't breathe. I could hear the screams of the passengers as they tried to get out. I begged for help. Please, someone, help me. Lithuania, help me. Please, anyone, help me. The next day, what was found was complete devastation. All 50 passengers, 14 workmen, the guard, and my crew were killed in the explosions, including myself. I was killed in the second explosion. Nothing was left of the train, and the tracks were just blown apart. My body was completely destroyed, mangled, thrown to bits. My whistle was never found. It is said to have been blown to bits. Others say that it was taken. Soon, the exact results of my disaster, or the cause, was revealed. Apparently, McClintosh and Cornwall were double-heading a freight train in front of me. They had carelessly been riding reckless, and one of their cargo had spilled onto the tracks. When I had gone over it, one of the wagons on my ammunition train hit it, derailed, exploded, causing a chain reaction which caused the first explosion that derailed the entire train. All the survivors, including myself, were killed in the second, much powerful explosion. Those 5 engines had done it. They had caused my death. Now I'm a spirit, forced to wander the rails. But my life is not to be repeated. 20 years after my death, the smelters yard was built on the exact grounds of my disaster. Still, no one ever remembers my disaster. All they think about was that, oh, it was just one engine that died. No, the Kildare disaster was a disaster that was never meant to happen. And still, The 5 engines got away with it. Or so they thought. As I said before, the smelter's yard was built on the exact area of my disaster. My death. Lithuania had been sent to another railway. She still works there. But no, I am forced to stay here where I died. But that's not the end of it. The smelter's yard is now the home of my spirit, which has ran the rails time and time again. And one by one, all 5 of those engines that betrayed me, bullied me, tortured me, have disappeared. Yes, it was me. I killed them. I killed the ones who disobeyed me. I died a lonely death. But I'm not done. Every Halloween I'm going to return. And every time my story is told, I will come back with a vengeance. I am in search of my long-lost whistle. And one thing else, to seek those who do not care or dare to think of my lonely death. Whoever comes across me will suffer a lonely death, just like mine, and will never be heard from again. You don't remember me. You try to, but you can't. But now, once you see me, there's only one thing you can do, and that is run. Ma. Goodbye for now.